Hello everyone and welcome to my Magicka Sorcerer PvP build for the One Tamriel Patch. Since this patch I've played around with a lot of setups, in which I played a lot with Spinner Lich and Daunted set, but I felt this was lacking a lot of survivability. You had to sacrifice a lot of health and stamina and all this kind of stuff, so I kept on tier recrafting into a build, which is this build, and this build is made of two sets, which I'm going to explain you later, and these two sets combined give you so much max stats and so much survivability in total that I don't even think that Spinner Lich can combine to this set in open world. In duels, I guess that Spinner Lich will still be the way to go because you don't need so much stamina, but in open world you need all this stuff. So let's get into it. So first of all, for the race, I suggest you go either Breton or High Elf. They are both really good. There's not much of a difference into both of them. You can also play a Dark Elf. So let's go into the gear and I'll show you the stats. So first of all, I'm using 5 trainee. The reinforced body. There is also a sturdy body. So trainee always comes in training, except for the jewelry, which comes in all 3 Magicka stamina or health. But the gear always comes in training, except for some unique pieces, which this body is also a unique piece. I guess this one is from a quest in Strozmakai. I do not really know which quest. You can just Google the name of the chest. I'm also using boots. Now you can also use legs, the shoulder or the head. They are all the same resistance. So just take either one of these 4. And as you already saw, the next set is Emberplasm. Now we are using 5 Emberplasm on the body because we want to have 5 light and 5 light with traits. Now I don't have perfect traits. I still have well fitted from the old times before Impa didn't drop any dungeons yet. So the first of all, the jewelry has to be trainee because otherwise you are gonna be stuck with training pieces. So you have to farm these or buy these. You can buy them. You get them from the starter island from chests, if I'm correctly. Now the body is from a quest and the boots you can just get them as drop or you buy them. Emberplasm is from Ruins of Mesatun, which is in Shadowfen. This dungeon Ruins of Mesatun, you need Shadow of the Hills DLC in order to get this stuff. Now to farm this, it's really easy. You just go normal mode with a friend or 2 or 3, and you kill the first 2 bosses because those are dropping you all the gear pieces that you need. If you want a stuff, which I come in a second, then you have to do more bosses, because then you have to swap some gear around, and that's because I have Maelstrom Inferno stuff sharpened. If you don't have this, you can use an Emberplasm stuff, which you just have to farm, and then you use one Undaunted piece, like Infernal Guardian or Grofta, Max Magicka, or maybe even a Kina piece. On the back bar I have a defending random stuff. Do not go for a master stuff because this 1k Max Magicka is not worth it on the back bar. You want an enchant that procs there because on the main bar you don't have anything. I used to run with the increased weapon and spell damage, but I feel that the Daedra, the undead, the Daedra damage enchant is just too good to not have. It's some extra burst, and if there is people that have low resistance, they are just taking 3 to 4k damage from just this enchant. It's not worth it to take the weapon and spell damage. You can if you still prefer it yourself, but I would not recommend using that. So no master stuff, just a random one, and just craft it defending, and then you should be fine. So for the enchants on the gear, I go full Max Magicka. You can go with Tri-Stat if you like on the big pieces. I suggest if you get an Emberplasm head and breaches and infuse, you could go Tri-Stat on those. It's also really nice to use that. Get even more stats. You can already see the stats that are coming in a sec. Jewelry, full spell damage. With this build you can even get like a recovery and swap Munderstone, because at the moment I use Etronak. So you can put like a recovery here and then get like the Thief Munders if you prefer to have more spell critical. So that also works really well. So let's go into the stats. Now these stats are just ridiculous. It's insane how much stats these two sets combined give you in total. It's just insane. So Max Magicka 39k, nothing special. It's really normal. I suggest not going under 37k. 39k is totally fine. Above 40k is also nice, but with 6-second shields, I think 39k is like the perfect rate. 38 to 40 is perfectly right. Now health 24k. This is where this build shines. Just you have 4k more than the spinner lit setup, which is 4k health in this patch with all these procs is just really nice to have. And with a prismatic enchant you can even go up to 25-26k if you prefer. Now max stamina 14k, it's like I'm using tri-stat food, but I'm not using tri-stat food. I'm using the Witch Mother Potent Brew, which gives me max Magicka health and recovery. And because of trainee, there is no issue on stamina whatsoever. And because of Ember Blossom, we also get the stamina recovery, so we are really good on stamina. It might even be overkill to use this, but in open world, overkill is what saves you, and with this build, you can go overkill because of the max magic and spell damage being really high, so you have this flexibility. Now the Magicka recovery is 2.1k, remember I'm a Breton, so on a high elf this will be even more. This is also overkill because of the Atronach. I don't think I need the Atronach here, but I do it because you get poisoned sometimes. You want this extra. It's super nice to not run out and just be fine on resources. If you prefer more damage or more crit, just take another Mundus. I like the Atronach for more sustain. For over sustain, it's just how I like to play. So with Power Surge buffed, we are having this spell damage is not I think we have buffs. So this regularly is 2.8k. Here we have buffs. Yeah, 5%. This is normally 2.8, 2780. If you get gold, yeah, probably 2.8k. Now, for the recovery, if you take a potion, it's just ridiculous. Like this recovery, you're not gonna run out. It's just too good. And if you get continuous, then you are literally sitting at 2.7k Magicka recovery, which is just super nice. Because sometimes you just have to streak 3 or 4 times because people are chasing you and you need to get your ground, and with this recovery you can do that. It's totally fine. You get back up in your Magicka and you can reset yourself and continue to fight. So this was the gear. Now we're gonna go over in skills, and the skills are very different for everyone, so let's get into it. So next over, let's start with the skills. Now for skills, Sorcerer has so much different ways of being played, so I'm gonna explain what I like to play. If you have your own style and you have your own combinations, then you can. This is the flexibility that the Sorcerer also has. So this is what I use. I use Flame Reach over Force Pulse or Crushing Shock. Now I do this because a lot of times you just need people to be off you instantly. You just want them to be not pressuring you, and mostly this is for Stamina Night Blades. When they are trying to gap on you, you just curse them. You just wait for them to come into you. You just keep your shields up, make sure your frag is procced. And when they ambush you, you just reach them instantly into a frag, into Fury, and most of the time you can kill them really easily with this combo. So Crystal Frag, always time this procced with your curse, or before you're gonna do an ultimate or after the ultimate. You want to CC people and get burst down, because the way PvP works is you need burst. If you don't burst, then the fight's gonna be too long, it's gonna get too much pressure, so you need that burst. Now Hardened Water main shield, I have it on the main bar, I always have. I just want to stay offensive in some fights. I don't want to be able to not kill him because I have to bar swap and shield myself back up. I want to finish the kill and get him done. So this is why I have it on the main bar. Now Endless Fury, this is something it's really stupid, but I started playing with like 3 weeks ago. It is so strong right now. It's so strong. It's basically everything that goes under 20% health is just dead, no matter by what, and they die instantly. If they have 40% health and an enemy on ally surprise attack hits them for that 20%, that surprise attack will kill them because your Fury Explosion is just finishing them completely off. Now I have Streak on the main bar, and this is also, I want to stay offensive. It is really good versus dodge roll people. You curse them from the back bar. That's where you start with. you do a reach. Now they are mostly gonna dodge this because people intend to dodge roll after curse. So what I used to do is I curse, I reach, charge and heavy attack, and then when they come out of the dodge roll, you frag them instantly. If those both miss, you can always streak them. So if those two miss and you have the curse on, you always streak them around the time of curse. So you take them into the defensive because you take quite some health away with just those two. So this is the skills that I use on my main bar. On the back bar I have Healing Ward. Yeah, you need to heal back up together with Power Surge. Healing Ward is also super nice in group to heal your allies. Always focus on this. If you do not play a Templar, play a bit defensive. Always make sure you give Healing Ward to your allies. It's too good. This is a really good heal. Now Boundless Storm is our main resistance. Now with this setup you could slot Shuffle here as well if you prefer. I have it on the overload bar, which I'm gonna show you in a sec, but you can run Shuffle here too if you prefer that. You can run Mines here too. I just like Boundless for the speed and for the resistance. It's just nice. I like it here. Now Hexys Magicka, I don't have Dampen on this build. With Spinner Lich I run Dampen because 20k health is just too low. You need that extra shield, but with this build I don't need Dampen at all. Hexys Magicka is more than fine, and it gives you literally endless sustain versus Magicka builds. It's just great, and this is also a point which I started to play this build and not the other one. So Hexys Magicka over Dampen Magic on this build. Now Curse always make open with this, make this your burst together with the frag. It's so important that you do that. It gives you the best kills. It's just really nice. Now Power Surge, our main spell damage. Now let's get into the overload bar. Now I have defensive rune just for when I'm like being a bit lazy or go on the horse. You just can't get ganked, that gets CC'd. If you're under heavy pressure sometimes it's also really nice because this goes through block. So if you have Magicka DKs on you that are constantly rooting you and you want to get away, you can pop a defensive rune. Then a Shuffle, that's why I have Shuffle here. So you defensive rune, you shuffle yourself free and you streak off and you are free to go to reposition yourself. Now Hardened Ward is here. I do not have Hexys Magicka here because when I am on the overload bar and I Hardened Ward and go away, I instantly go to Harness. So if you would say play with Hardened Ward on the back bar, then you would place Harness here. So that you go from one shield into the other shield and then you are shielded again. Now I have mines on here because in open world I don't really use mines that much. They are more for when I know that an enemy player is a really strong player and I need mines in order to make it not super competitive but easier to kill them and give myself some free time in resetting my stats back. Then that's why I have them on the off bar, not on the overload bar, not on the off bar. And I still have streak here because on the overload bar you still want to be mobile. Now you could use Vampire Mist also on this slot, might also not be so bad, but that we have Shuffle here, we are good to go on Snare, so it's personal preferences on skills, what you like and what you want to use. So now on the main bar we have the Eye of Flame. Now this ultimate is way too strong, way too powerful, and I'm not gonna gimp myself not using it. It's Sorcerer works really well because without ultimate you can kill people sometimes really efficiently, really fast. But when stuff just gets too much, you have the Eye of Flame to go and just kill them. Now this Eye of Flame is so strong with the execute that you literally pop it, you streak 2 or 3 times, get them all stuck, get them low, and then you just spam Fury and on the lowest health target and kills are just coming left and right. It's so strong. And if you play in a small group and you combine this with a friend, then yeah, you get a lot of kills. It works really well, it synchronizes really well. Yeah, it's just super nice. So for the skill points, always make sure that you level Alchemy to 50, so your potions last for the full duration of the cooldown. This is important. Get that for raise your passives for sure. Alliance Ward, the continuous, just get all the passives in these because sometimes you need Purge in a group and you get some Magicka Recoveries, so just get them all. I do not use major skilled abilities here. You can use Meteor here, so if you want that, also put your points in here, and don't put points in there. Now Fighter's Guild, you can put points into the Banish the Wicked to get, like, if you want to farm some dungeon and get some faster ultis like Skyreach or the sewers, it's nice to have. Now I am a vampire, and I am always going to stage 3 on a vampire, just because I think I am stage 3 at the moment. Yes, so you take 20% more damage from fire. On stage 4 this is 25, and on stage 3 you do not lose anything besides the cost of your skills. But we are not using vampire skills, so that's not a problem for us. And we want to stay on 3 for undead. So undead is not that good on Sorc, but it can help in some situations. So if you like, I really don't want it, just go to stage 2 and only benefit from the recovery, which is what you want. Now to do that, there is a drink which is called the Double Bloody Mara. You can literally drink this like I'm on stage 3. I'm gonna drink this. You see I will be on stage 2, and now I'll take 15% more damage from fire instead of 20. Or you eat your regular food before drink your drink, and then you're back on your regular stat. So that's how you go down in Vampire. You don't have to go and feed on an NPC, you can just use this drink and you are fine. Now for armor, full on light. For medium, all the passives that do not require 50s. For heavy, that's the same, because you're wearing one heavy, one medium. Just gotta max it out. Now destruction stuff, all the passives. Restoration stuff, all the passives. For the dark magic, Daedric and summoning also, just take all the passives. Now for Daedric summoning, there's like a rebate you don't really need. Or expert summoning you don't really need, but let's say you are in a duel and you like to use Etronak. Just get those skill points done. Just get them, it's nice to have. So next thing up, we're gonna go over the champion points. So for the champion points, we are using, first of all, in the tower, 100 in addition. Reduced cost is way better than recovery, because you are spamming a lot of skills. Your shields are, you are literally spamming them so much. You are streaking sometimes 2-3 times in a row, so the percentages are adding up. Reduced cost is the way to go in Sorcerer. That's also why I'm a Breton myself. Now high elf is fine, but I just like to be a Breton just for the reduced cost. I have 73 in Arcanist, just 20% for the recovery, because we are playing with a good recovery, so having a high amount in here is also good to have. Now 13 in Tumbling, just for the extra break free and the roll dodges, it's really nice to have. Now for the Apprentice, I run full Elemental Expert. I run 61 into Elfborn. Now I run 61 because some players that I know from PvE, they gave me like a list of percentages when it actually matters. Like if you have like 63, that little percentage doesn't even add extra. So I have 61 to make that up. I have 23 in Spell Erosion, I have 1 in Staff Expert, 1 in Shattering Blows, and 1 in Thaumaturge. Now, you could put more into Thaumaturge for the Destro ult and for the Flame Reach, but I feel like it's not that big of a difference. I rather have just straight on damage with my regular skills. I only want to use Ultimate when I really need it, if I'm going to be in trouble, so that's why I have points into Thaumaturge, or not much points into Thaumaturge. Now for the resistance, this is a thing, on a Sorcerer, people always ask, why do you use Impen? Shields can't be critted. Yes, you're right. But there's also, you also get hit without your shields. And I've tried to build with 2.8k crit resistance, and now I'm playing with 1.5k. There's not much of a difference. I suggest you just get 1.5k crit resistance. You get whatever Ember Pleasant piece you can find and you tip it off with resistant here onto 1.5k crit resistance, and then you will be fine. So for the regular resistances, I have 27 in Hardy for 10% and 10% for the Mental Defender. A little bit in Thick Skinned, just to mitigate a little bit more of damage. Now I'm a Breton, I could put a little bit more in Hardy, because I get 4k spell resistance from the ratio passives, but I just keep it on 10-10 here, and I find it to be a good spot. Now full into Bastion. 100, you want your shields to be fully effective. This is not only effective for you, because your healing ward will also affect your allies with this fully 25%. It's just really nice. You could go lower and put a little bit more in resistances, but it's just what you prefer. This is my setup and I like to play with these. So this was my CP. So for attacking people, the rotation is really important that you not just spam some skills. I'm gonna show you some rotation that I use or sometimes use. So you always start with a curse. You light attack 4 spells, rock frag, and then you have the fury. Now he's not blocking or don't have resistance, so curse, 4 spells, rock frag into a fury, which is like the base rotation, because the proc frag will come with the curse and they get CC'd, and then you finish them off with a fury. So this is the base rotation that I used to use. So this next rotation is more for people that are likely to dodge roll. So you'll just buff up, you curse them, you give them 1 force spells, and then you streak them, drag them in the back, and then execute them after. This is the rotation that I mostly use against people that are dodging a lot. So with the streak you get a guaranteed CC. If they don't break free fast enough, the crystal frag will also be guaranteed on. And then you just finish them off with a fury. It just works really well. So the next combo is with the destructive reach. This is a little bit more safe in my opinion, because I weave in a shield all the time. So you curse them, you shield first, then you reach them into a proc frag, and then fury. And that's how I finish the people with this setup with destructive reach. This is my main rotation at the moment that I really like to use. So this is the base rotations that I use. There is a lot of other stuff and a lot of situations in which this does not really work. It's just to give you some heads up for if you are not really experienced on playing Magicka Sorcerer and just want to get started and get some basic info. I hope that you like this video. I am thinking of creating more. You might expect soon a video for Stamina Nightblade for my 1vx build, which I really enjoy playing as well. If you like this video, then leave a like. If you have questions, place a comment. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.